and like excited, ready for the episode.
Woo! Here we go. Ready?
I gotta pee.
Hey, podcast fam. I'm Lacy Bassford, the Director of Outreach for Foster Florida.
I'm Kristy Sutton, Director of Advocacy for Foster Florida, and we are super excited
We're
about
coming at you
this.
today.
Oh, today?
Or tonight. I don't know.
Sometime, whenever you're listening. But we have 15 kids, so we're super tired, and we share a brain.
And we talk about not wearing pants. So listen up.
You are listening to WHOA Podcast, coming to you from Gainesville, Florida. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the WHOA GNV Podcast, the podcast bringing you businesses and individuals and very crazy women that make you go, whoa.
Whoa!
Whoa.
Whoa.
I mean, this is a lot of whoa.
I am your host, Collin Austin. My co-host is Michael Dees.
I almost don't even want to waste time because this is going to be so much fun tonight.
Wait. Michael, give us a better whoa.
What, do you want the Joey Lawrence whoa?
No, you were just like, this, just
that
you're
was
tired.
more like a just whoa.
It's because he's lost so
whoa.
much weight.
Yeah. I mean,
You can't put some gumption back into it, you know?
How much
I
did
could
you weigh
probably-
before?
I don't know.
right? Like, how? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I see
It's
you all
the lady.
time.
The lady.
This
The
is how
gray
I've
color.
always looked, right?
I think you look handsome all the time.
No, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's how I've always
She
looked.
didn't say now you
Listen,
look
no,
good.
he started working out and losing
Thanks.
weight and got the gal.
Something like that.
Oh, that he's gonna propose
Hey, you guys!
to.
I just want to let you know,
It's okay, she doesn't
last
listen.
call. This episode goes out on December 14th. So look, last call to get your Gainesville, Florida t-shirts before Christmas. You see
Yes,
this right here?
I want one.
All right, we're selling them at WHOAGNV.com. If you click shop in the menu and go and see all the swag that we have available, we have this and the podcast shirts and
Mugs?
the dirty mugs from last week. And, yeah.
Also, is that the White House on that
episode.
shirt? Or
No, that is the Hippodrome.
Hippodrome.
And
Excuse my friend.
And-
Sacrilege.
in fact, you know what I'm going to do? Because I can tell that today's episode is going to be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
If you purchase a shirt between now and Christmas, we're going to donate 50% of the proceeds.
what? That's what
Not
I'm
to
saying.
you guys, to somebody else. Look at the
so
assumptions. Yeah, look at the assumptions being made.
Serious?
We're going to donate
Yay.
50% of the proceeds to a really great organization,
My
but
gosh,
it won't
I'm
be Foster
leaving.
Florida.
Walking out the door.
Well,
Oh my
that was
gosh.
a fun interview.
I'm just kidding.
Okay,
We're going to donate 50%
We
of the
appreciate
proceeds
that.
I
to
felt
you
bad.
guys.
Y'all better buy a lot of t-shirts.
Let's go.
Stuff the stockings with
Yeah,
them.
man, for sure.
Right.
Holla.
I'm going to apologize to Jane for all the sound spikes in this episode because, oh, man, you might.
Do you have to
I'm
fix that?
sorry.
So,
We don't know anything about that.
No.
Yeah, don't even worry about it.
Tone it down.
So, you guys, obviously, as you can tell, let me just say, I've worked so incredibly hard to build an audience worthy enough of these two incredible ladies right
True.
here.
Basically.
That's why it's taken 128 episodes to get to this
Gosh.
episode 129.
That's a
just-
prime
If
number.
only we had been
Love
number
it.
one.
Just to have this very
Nobody was
special
listening.
moment. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Nobody was.
129 is going to be the best episode.
There you go.
ever.
So today on the show, we have Kristy Sutton and Lacy Bassford, co-founders of
Jesus,
Florida
help
Foster. Should we say a prayer
Lord,
for this
help
episode?
God, help him
Please
say
help.
the right words, please.
Of Foster, Florida. I got distracted because
Kristy.
I saw the phonetic spelling of Kristy. on here.
You phonetically
She
put it
literally
out.
wrote Kristy on.
That's what
And
y'all
so-
said, do. I thought you were that
Yeah, I mean, I got
needy.
When have you ever been a rule follower?
I don't know.
I just ignored it. I was like, you know how to
She
say
actually-
if you don't know how to say my name by now. I
She
don't know.
ignored the whole form.
I did.
Also, Foster Florida is only 2 words.
Yeah, I'll get it.
Get that
Sure.
straight by
At
the
some
end.
point. I just got
Florida.
distracted by the Kristy
Kristy.
phonetics spelling on
With a K.
on the sheet. So
Sorry
thank
about
you
that.
for joining this episode.
Yes.
We had a great time. Where can our audience find you? Yeah.
Game
all right.
over?
So ladies,
Yes, sir.
just tell us everything, please.
I'll take
Start from the beginning.
Yeah,
In the beginning.
well, how did you guys meet, become friends, decide to start this crazy
we never
business?
get asked this question.
We don't. Why does
No.
everybody
Oh my
care?
gosh, this is going to be fun. Okay, so way back in the day, I'm going to start. So Kristy and I originated
Yes.
on the south side of Gainesville.
Yep.
What's that neighborhood?
Archer Road.
So I
Oak Park
lived,
Village.
Yes, I lived in Oak Park Village.
And I lived in the Haystacks.
Down in OPV. Yeah, you know
we're
me.
fancy across the street.
But we bought that, and so we were both poor.
We were.
Yeah. Well, still
poor.
sort of are, basically. And we, well, actually, we met in church. I just had my second 10-pound baby.
Yep. She came in with this giant baby.
Yeah.
And I was running a mom's group, and she came in, and I don't even know if we talked, but there we
I think
were.
we said hey.
With a bunch of moms living this like exhausted life. And so we just became friends. We were in a small group together at church, and
You came over to the house with your kids.
yep, she had a hole in the chore.
Listen, it was
floor.
a 700 square foot trailer, and her kids came in, and they were literally all over the furniture. Do you remember that? And I was like, wow, her kids are
I do
energetic.
not. She's making all of this up.
I am not. Oh my gosh, ask Laura.
You said
It's my
that?
sister-in-law. Yes. Anyway, so we lived across the street from each other and did not know.
Yeah.
And then I had started a direct sales company, which used to be called Premier Designs, and sold jewelry. And I convinced Kristy to have a jewelry show.
Oh, you got sucked into one of those direct
Yes.
marketing things?
Listen, she's thankful she got sucked into it.
It carried our family
kidding.
for a long time.
She won a van.
I did. Won a van from
Nice.
Premier. One.
We had like 300 people under
No,
us
people who are
together.
good at it, they absolutely crush
Well,
it.
it's just like,
Well, basically, we were good
Okay.
at it.
What's that?
thank you for that compliment.
Yeah.
So we did that forever.
Yep.
7
Yeah,
years.
We did. So we organized trainings. We trained on national stages together. We had about 300 people under us. And so that really laid the groundwork for what we do in Foster, Florida.
Yep.
It gave us a huge, basically like social media following. So when we became foster parents, Kristy became foster parent a couple of years before we did. And when we had a need, we could ask for a need on Facebook and things would get met right away
Yep.
because we had this huge network basically.
Yep.
So
So we could say, hey, we need a crib, or hey, we need a baby's coming to our house in 3 hours, and people would literally show up on our front doorstep with a stroller, a car seat, formula, food. And so we became foster parents in 2012, and at the time we had 3 kiddos and found out 4 days later we were pregnant with our 4th. Surprise. And so the Bassfords really walked alongside us the first year or so and helped us care for kiddos and reunify a baby with her mom. And then God really called them into foster care to step into the front lines. And so we were living it together. Living it, drowning in it, basically. And so 5 years ago, we threw together a table at our church just to say, hey, here's more information about Orphan Sunday. And literally it was done.
Like that Friday.
Like
our church, we found out our church wasn't doing anything and we thought that was real stupid. And so Kristy emailed the pastor and said, what can we do? This was on Friday. And if you know anything about a church, you know, they plan things out literally like a year in advance, which
Well, we're
I
not
do
good
not
at that.
understand that. And so we don't operate like that. Great last minute people. And so he responded and said, you know, do whatever you want. Set up a table in the portico. And so we did.
We didn't know what we were doing.
We didn't. And we had a sign-up sheet. And then we put our personal emails and phone numbers on these flyers, which we didn't know what we were given. Like, why do you need a flyer? We don't really know, but take one. And so they
Sign up here for what? I'm not sure.
We're not
but
sure.
The clipboard looked official.
We're not sure, but we like your info.
It was like, can I have your email address, please, and your social security number?
And so people started
People gave
personally
it.
contacting us, and
Yeah.
it became confusing. And literally, I was on the way back from Lake City, and
Gosh, I tell her not to tell this part of the story.
not that I ever do this, but this one time I was on my phone while driving down the interstate, and we were on the phone, and I said, we've got to figure out an email. And so we just threw out a couple of names, and literally we became Foster Florida because it was available on Gmail. And so
Look at God.
here we are. It was literally done while I was driving
No
down the
strategic planning needed.
side of, from Lake City.
So there we are, and that's how we became Foster Florida.
Yeah, we had our first meeting. We told everybody about it, and like 50 people showed up.
We had no idea.
Literally, we had a piece of paper down on the table. 10 minutes before people walk in, we look at each other and we go, what are we going to say to these people who are showing up? We don't know. And so we literally just
On a
piece of paper drew 4 columns. hey, these are the 4 ways you really need to support a foster family. They came. I made people stand in chairs.
How many people were you expecting to come?
I don't know.
We don't really know. We ordered pizza.
We don't really like to
Did you
throw
order
out
enough
numbers
pizza?
like that.
I don't.
People were
really,
standing
that
in
was
the
like
back.
5 years. I don't
I'm just saying,
know.
like,
5
okay,
years
like maybe
ago?
5 people will come up, maybe 10 people will come up, and like that 50th person shows up. Are you like,
Yes, we were
Well,
like,
they did keep
wow,
coming,
they
yes.
did. Yeah, they kept. And on the serious note, the reason we knew and could kind of fly by the seat of our pants was because we were living what we were turning around and serving.
Right.
And so that is crucial to growing any type of ministry. When you understand firsthand what the people that you're serving are going through, that doesn't really require a lot of strategic planning because you are living that experience every single day. And you can say, no, what I really need is somebody cook me dinner on Thursday night because my husband works late and I'm home with 8 kids alone. Or what I really need is a gas card because I'm driving 2 kiddos to Trenton to visit their biological parents twice a week. And so that kind of stuff, like knowing the needs, doesn't take thought, in planning because we were actually living it on the front lines. And so that's how we were able to really grow the ministry of Foster Florida.
Yeah, from there we had people ask us to come and speak at their church, and so it was really birthed to Foster Florida. And our first church that we ever went to, somebody came and said,
First of all, we had vinyl T-shirts made
we did.
the night before.
The night before.
Vinyl put
Mine
on there.
was probably a size too small.
It was fine.
It was a little tight.
Cardigan. And then
and that's one thing foster care may do to you.
gain a
Put
little
on
weight.
a little weight.
I'm just saying, I've
like
only gained
Michael
weight
over
this
there.
year. This year.
Baby, it's been a slow process.
Packing it on.
Anyways, they come and they say the news is here, and I go, who are the newses?
I go, no, the news is here.
The camera people.
Literally.
WCJB.
That was in Ocala. We also had no idea what we were doing, but we were on the news. So,
We
and
were.
somebody wrote us a check at the end for $200.
That was
And
our
we were
first
like, we
donation.
don't have a bank account.
or anything but an email address on Gmail.
Make it out to Foster Florida. We don't exist.
So this entire organization is completely spontaneous?
Yes. I mean, you know us. Really?
This is how we roll. It's frightening.
Listen, it was not spontaneous to God, but we weren't privy to the information until
Correct.
it happened. That's how
That's
it
the
happened.
truth.
So after somebody gives you a $200 check, you're like, okay, maybe we should open up a business. bank
Literally,
account.
we were like, what
Literally.
should we do?
What do we do?
At the time, I had only 6 kids, and
I think I only
not
had
enough.
4 or 5.
it's never enough. And so, we were still working Premier. I'm a trauma nurse by trade, so I had left ER nursing to do Premier. I really wanted to go back to nursing, but the doors never opened. And so just having a desire to really connect with community, but not be in direct sales also. We knew God was calling us out of that, but it was definitely over time. But Foster Florida, honestly, like we started serving people in our church, people in our community. We were already so connected to foster families in the community that it didn't feel like we were building something else. We were just really putting boundaries
More effort
and
into it.
effort to what we were already living, really and truly, and giving other people.
Because it was all the time, because we had that network on social media where we could ask for a crib when we needed it, or we could ask for a car seat or whatever it was, or I need a gray bunk bed because that matches what's in the room and I don't really want to stare at something
We like pretty things.
yellow. But then we would see the needs of other foster families. So then we would use our own personal social media, and still do to this day, to ask for things for other families. And I think the reality is people, it requires a village to take care of vulnerable children in our community, right? It should not be the burden of the one family who says yes. It is the burden of the community. So whether that family can afford that car seat or can afford that crib is not the point. The point is let other people do their parts and ask for what you need. And so that's basically the gist of what Foster Florida is like, we're going to give you the power and the platform to ask for what you need so the community can then come and answer those needs in a real and tangible way. So
That was real serious. Let's talk about something funny.
no, the real question is, hold on, Collin. Let me ask
This
you
is Colin's podcast, but we're
No,
going to
no,
take
this
over
is
Let
from
me ask
here.
you this
Great.
question,
I mean,
Collin. Okay, the real question is, when are you going to be a foster parent?
Yeah, that is the real question.
Shannon?
Oh my gosh.
Shannon.
You can answer that on episode 130.
We're going to let you mull over that a little.
Oh my gosh, let's switch that around. Episode 130, we ask you the questions.
Isn't business ownership kind of like fostering people? I mean, to some extent.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not making it.
Oh, we're going to, don't worry. It's fine. We got him.
I mean, the people that come and go here. Like,
He's about to cry
I'm just
right now.
he's about to cry.
I see-
Well, I'm just
I see
thinking
the Lord
about
working.
like the pain we go through with 2 children.
It's exponential.
I'm trying to wrap my head. Okay, so how many children do you have, Kristy?
8.
8, and you have 7.
7. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm trying to wrap my head.
And listen,
around
we're only
that.
6
Now, let
minutes
me
late
tell
tonight.
Let me tell you something. When we started foster care, we got licensed,
Yes.
and I did not want to get licensed. Literally, I was like, a door will close. Lord, a door will close, please. Because I knew walking beside
And then
friends,
swing wide.
I
the gates.
knew what it was like, and I didn't really
It
want
was
to do
uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Inconvenient.
just a little bit
Crappy.
And so we said yes. It wasn't until literally the first kids were brought to our house at 1 a.m. We had told our licensing worker, we had 2 biological kids at the time. They were like 4 and 6. And I said, we will only take 1 child. Literally. That's all I can handle.
Okay.
And our very first call was for twin girls. And it was 11 o'clock at night. I looked at my husband and I go, what do we say? And if anybody knows my husband, he is like peacemaker. He's super even keel, very unlike me.
This is true.
And
why
he
he's still
goes,
around.
I guess we say yes. And I was like, I mean, even then I didn't want to because it was more than one.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed up and put 1 girl in Jonathan's arms and 1 girl in mine. And it was super clear night and the stars were shining. And I knew right then that it was a firm yes, we were doing what we were supposed to do. And the funny thing is, I've never had only 3 children in my home.
Mm-hmm.
Always had 4. We went from 2 to 4. If you would have told me when we started out that I would have 7 kids, I would have told you you were.
Bad word.
Yes. Literally is what I wanted to say. A bad word. Crazy. And I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
You're like, hell no. Not going to do
Basically.
that. Okay. But here we are.
I
This
know.
is our life. And
What year was that when you
2013.
got that call?
2014.
2014?
Isn't that crazy?
Here
I'm
we
just
are.
thinking about how difficult it is to get my kids to brush their teeth and go to bed.
It doesn't get easier. Like this is the
insane,
thing.
right?
Okay, I'll preach at you real quick because what you want to believe is that when you get your life figured out and when you become a really great parent that you can take on more. But the truth is,
You're never going to be
I
that.
cry myself to sleep a lot. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
so hard. And I feel like being a parent now is far more challenging than it was obviously back in 2012 when I had 3 children. And I have had to flesh out a lot of who I am in really bad ways when I have basically just laid my life down for what God has called us to do. And that is hard and it is messy and it is disgusting at times, but it's what we believe and it's what we stake our lives on. And so once you know and your eyes are opened to the 24,000 kids who are out of their home in foster care in your state, it is almost impossible to say, I can't do this anymore. We can say that for a season, I think. We're 8 plus years into foster care. 45 kids have come through our home. And it's difficult to say, I want to be done with this forever, because you know that there are kids who are right now while we're talking sitting with a caseworker somewhere waiting for someone in their community to say, you can sleep in my home tonight. That's hard. That's real. That's not...
Yeah, it's why we're at 7 kids. We were at 5, and then 6 was kind of my max.
Okay.
I say that 7 put me on meds.
9.
7 put me on meds.
And this is
Same,
the truth.
same. It's a magical number, seven.
So six, I was doing really good and felt like I was, still floating a little bit. But our little guy that we had left, and we took a break, and then we said yes to these 2 girls. But I don't think I would have ever said yes to 2 more kids and gone to 7 had I not seen these girls with my own eyes and held them. It was a unique situation, and I couldn't say no to them when they were in a time of need. When a name and a number become a face, it changes everything.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
but we can say yes because we have people who, I could just tell you time and time and time again, people who have out of the blue, called and said, I want to bring you dinner tomorrow night. It's like, yes, thank you. Or like, hey, I want to stay at your house overnight.
She'll say that any night, though, because she hates cooking.
I hate cooking, and so God knows he sends me people who have all the food. If I never had to cook again, I'd be so
like,
happy.
I cooked tonight. Frozen pizza.
This is not true.
Actually,
I gave you my
you did
shrimp scampi. I gave you that.
You did.
You asked me twice.
It was really good.
You asked me twice for that recipe.
I did, and you came through.
I know,
and it was really good.
Pinterest. But I don't enjoy it. Okay, wait. This is also 2 different things. The ability to cook and the desire to cook. She's not the same.
She likes to convince herself.
It's true. I can cook. Y'all, do you want me to bring food next time?
we always seriously.
Maybe I won't. But I have a foodie that does cook. That's what I'm saying. Foster Florida can fill in the gaps for what you need and give you the people to help serve your family. That's why we can do it. If we were in this alone, honestly, I would have killed a kid by now, probably.
She's
Please
honest.
omit that podcast.
This is also true. Or my husband.
That's more likely.
What's the craziest story for each of you guys?
Like in our life in general.
Well, particularly in foster care, something that just really sticks out in your time doing this.
That we can talk about. Here's the thing the thing about foster care is you can talk about things that happen on the other side of the world in orphanages and sex trafficking. It's very easy to talk about things that are not right here in your backyard. But if we told specific stories that happened to us here, people are going to hear that may know that very story. So the lives are so intertwined in your own community that it's harder to tell those stories. But oh my gosh.
Well, but there have been crazy things that have happened for Foster Florida. Like last year, speaking of spontaneous ways that we work, and last minute, we needed to raise like $13,000 to fund this portal, website, design, all of this work that needed to be done, which is not in our wheelhouse. And we raised over $13,000 in 48 hours.
Dang.
Via social media. People who didn't even live in Florida, but who have connected with Foster Florida in some way and wanted to give. And so these are our constant green lights that God is still doing what he wants to do and wants us to stay the course when it's like, this is impossible. Impossible. We have to write a check Monday for $13,000 and it's Friday night, literally. And there it goes. So that's where personalities like ourselves, I feel like, come in really handy. Last minute, but land on our feet. So there we go.
So do you feel like you have to convince people
Limping
to get into this, or like what's the sell? Like, how do you pitch it?
Well, there's no longer. That pitch lasts for about the first year and a half when you're like, look at that.
Till they get their
Like, are
first
you, like,
placement.
looking
They're
for
like,
a
you duped me.
No, I think there are people
it's
that
community, I think. And that's the beauty of Foster Florida, too, is there's so many people who say, well, I can't take a kid into my home right now,
Right.
but I can do something. I can cook a meal. I can pray for you. I can watch your kids for a few hours a couple of times a month.
Right.
Or whatever it may be. I can give money. But
they also give money.
yeah. Whatever it may be, right? And so what happens is they develop relationships and they develop community. And so as that they just gain more experience, foster care becomes more normalized in their life.
Yeah.
And then they can see themselves, hey, I can see myself in your shoes. I could do this. We have the time and space, or don't, but feel like we should do this anyway.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately most people want to make a difference. And there are lots of things that you can get involved with where you can feel like you're making a
When
difference.
she does that, when she smiles like this and then pauses, that means she wants to say something
Yeah.
bad. And then,
But I'm not going
I'm
to.
proud of you.
I know.
I know what you were going to say.
You do?
I do.
That's what I was going to say. And so there's lots of things that people think that they are making a difference on, but I'll tell you, there's no other place where you're going to make a real difference unless you are investing in the lives of human beings.
Yep.
And so what better way to do this? Because a high percentage of people who find themselves ending up in sex trafficking or imprisonment, you want reform in homelessness, you want reforms in those things. A high percentage of the people who are living in those situations and conditions now have found themselves in foster care as children.
Yeah.
And so if you want to make a difference for the long haul, make a difference in the life of one today.
Yeah.
And that's the kid right here in your backyard.
That's good. Yeah, and also one of the ways that we are unique in Foster Florida. So we didn't coin the market on, we didn't make this up, like how to serve somebody. Great. People were doing this before Kristy and Lacy came along, right? But what we saw was that, especially within the church community, people were connecting with or serving somebody within the walls of their church. But we really took the approach, just really shifted that in a complete 180 to say, no, we're going to take the church out into the community. And so that allowed other people in the community to also step in who may not have heard about the need for supplies or meals or whatever it was that a foster family needed. They were serving in the community. And so the way we work is by bringing that person to the front step of the home of a foster family. And so it isn't this what we call one-off, where some of these are great, but there are, things that happen once a year where
A diaper
you
drive.
may do a diaper drive or bring a turkey in
Or a gift card.
drop something off at your local food bank. Things like that are one-offs, but they're not actually connecting you in relationship to somebody in your community. And so when we can be the matchmaker and connect somebody in the community who we call villagers to somebody on the front lines, a foster family, and we can say, no, you cook the meal or you buy the meal and you take it to their front door. And then they open the door and now we've connected them in a relationship. And that relationship continues to grow over time. And then a lot of times they see, oh, you're doing this. So 6 months later, after I've been bringing you food, I see that maybe I could step into the front lines. And so that's part of recruiting really for Foster Florida, is allowing people to get this full visual and this experience of what foster care is in their own community. So it's not so daunting. And so they can see I can step in this way.
Yeah,
and I can serve.
and it becomes real too, because I don't know if y'all know this about me, but I hate wearing pants. Hate
This
it.
is also true.
Okay, literally. If you ever come and
She
knock
actually
on my
has
door,
no pants on right now.
you just can't tell. It's a disguise. But I literally do. But my foodie, she comes to the door. I don't even put pants on. She comes to the door.
Jesus, help us.
She's been my foodie for so long.
She
I just
doesn't
say,
care
thank you.
anymore.
Come on in.
Come on in with my shirt.
Just a part of the family. So that kind of relationship
They never
can
wanna
also
come to
be
the house.
developed.
Is this too
You
much?
probably love Zoom meetings then, right? With
No pants.
You don't have to
Oh,
wear
yeah.
pants.
No, she
and it's
hates it because she's not paying attention. Remember that, what I told you when she's like, what did you say?
Listen,
That's how Zoom
I
meetings
think the
go.
older I get, I don't know if it's the number of kids I have, or maybe
don't care
I've
about your
always
body?
been this way and I'm more self-aware. But I think I have ADD.
I do
ADHD.
actually
I don't
have
know.
ADD.
Maybe we all do.
I think we do.
Yeah.
Do I?
I think the best people have it.
Same.
I couldn't tell.
Do you feel bad for our husbands now?
Yeah, very much so. Shout out to them.
Zach and Jonathan are the best.
And Shannon.
Oh, well, we should have them come in.
Okay,
It's still like the real days.
Real quiet.
It would be real slow.
It would be real serious.
But they have incredible gifts that we don't have.
You would ask a question and it would take them a few minutes
No,
to
they would-
process
they
it.
would have an answer.
They would eventually. They would
They're
go
great.
home and really think about it though, and then have
This
better
is true.
answers.
They would not say anything inappropriate, I'll tell you that.
No.
They would not talk
that's
about
good.
not wearing pants.
Okay. Well,
Let's do that
I
sometime.
don't really find that inappropriate.
I don't either. I love it when you don't wear pants. Sorry. Do.
so I mean,
Why are you being so serious?
what? I'm just
Tripping
like,
over your words there, bro.
There's all the seriousness.
I mean, talk to me about like when you bring in some of these children, because you brought some of these children in and then you've adopted them, right?
Yep.
So
3.
you
We've
what,
each adopted 3.
Okay, so what led to that decision?
Yeah, that's actually a common question. I feel like people say
Damn
like,
it! I try to ask like the non-common questions.
Wait. Let me go back. Ask it again. That's never been asked.
Man, that is such a hard question.
Let me think about that and get back to you on
Actually,
the
it is
next
a loaded
episode.
question.
It is because people want to start talking about adoption from the beginning. And in foster care, it often doesn't work like that. So the whole concept of foster care is reunifying a child with their parents, right? Their parents are making poor choices, and so a decision has been made to remove a child from their caregiver and placed somewhere safe until their parents can work a case plan, and then hopefully bring their child back into their home once they've gained these skills. But we know that reality is that a lot of children don't go back to their biological family or family of origin. And so,
How often does that happen?
oh, that's a good question. It depends on what area of the state you're in.
Yeah, but I feel like I've read somewhere that the reunification rate is around 70%.
I was going to say 60 something.
Yeah, so it's pretty high. It's not adoption. I feel like is talked about a lot and celebrated a lot, but it comes with a lot of
Well, when you look at 24,000 kids being in foster care and then the reunification rate being around 60 to 70%,
that's still thousands.
you
of
still have
kids.
thousands of kids every year in the state of Florida alone.
There's like 1,800 kids waiting right now for adoption in the state of Florida, just waiting for someone to say yes, I will adopt you.
Oh gosh, you're gonna have to edit that out. I just ran into your table.
It's okay.
Sorry. So back to your original question though, how do you really decide that you want to adopt? For us, I mean, really, it comes for our family. It comes down to the child has been with us for a long
years.
time, right? And so we know that any move, whether it's a quote unquote good move or it's a harmful move, that all brings transition and change and trauma to a child. And so for us, for our family, we come to love these kids as our own, and the opportunity to adopt them has come up. And so we say, of course, like it's kind of a no-brainer. Every situation is definitely not that clear.
Yeah. So our three.
Real quick, what's the typical time though? Like on average that
a child remains in foster care?
Such a good question.
You
Is that asked all the time?
You should ask your
Well,
governor
no.
this.
Yeah. This is a
Politically
anything
charged.
that's run by the government is always usually in need of work.
I like that you changed always to usually.
Okay, always.
Yep, that was good.
Always.
No, I was saying that was an
Usually,
improvement.
I'm trying to be politically correct because people will listen,
Yes, they will.
and then they'll tell us what we said wrong.
So in the state of Florida, it should be around 12 months. 12 months that a parent has once a child is removed to work a case plan and reunify.
But there are millions of factors that go into that. So sometimes it's extended. Currently, we have our siblings who are in our care, and they have been in care for 15 months, which they are going towards reunification, and hopefully by Christmas that will happen. So it's taken a little longer in this case, and those could be for various reasons. It may be because of COVID, and COVID has delayed things. That's a new factor.
Yeah.
It could be that it took a little while for the parents to kind of come around and get their crap together and start working on things.
Or somebody was in prison.
It could be if domestic violence is
Right.
involved, then domestic violence courses are like 9 months long, and if that doesn't get referred right away,
Right.
that's going to extend the time. There's just like a million things. Incarceration can extend things. It literally
But
is
it
just
should
so
be
many
12
factors.
months. But
The goal is 12 months.
yeah.
What's
Nothing
been the
surprising.
shortest and what's been the longest? I mean,
Shortest?
obviously,
That we've had a kid in
the
our
longest
home?
would be adoption,
Forever.
right? Like you
Forever.
end up adopting them.
Yeah. The longest that we've had kids in our home and shortest
Yeah.
that we've had kids in our home.
Shortest?
Okay, well, here's the thing that you got to know about us. So we're crazy, but we are a little different.
I like
Are
that you
you
say that
sure?
about me as she
Right.
touches my arm.
Here's the thing. I literally hate short-term placements.
Yeah.
Well, real
which-
quick, were you crazy before you got into foster care?
Oh,
People do ask
yeah.
that.
Okay.
A little bit, but it's a different kind.
It's crazy-er.
Nah.
It's like you can't get off
But
the
you
train.
were already
The train's going
insane
fast.
before you got into foster care.
I mean, but here's the thing. There are lots of foster parents who really are
I'm not actually sure where you're going with this question.
I'm just trying to I'm just trying to
Are you
understand
trying to-
whether
are
or
you-
not.
wait, are you
if,
asking-
Like, if I got into foster care,
Yeah.
like, would I go insane?
Oh, I mean,
Or is he
Yes.
crazy enough to do it in the first place?
Or do
Yes.
you need to be insane like
Both.
prior?
Here's the thing. We know foster parents who are like type A, very
don't last
different
long.
than us.
Just kidding, some of them
Shut up. Don't listen to her. Listen, they just operate very differently. You know, they're like
Okay.
keep records of like who's in their home, and
Yeah,
they
they
write,
do.
and they're like, well, on Thursday, May 31st at 2:34, the caseworker came to visit and was here for 12.3 minutes,
Yes.
and I'm like. Well, I don't
They
remember.
may have one kid,
I
too.
don't remember what we had for lunch, so sounds great. So there's different personalities. All personalities can do foster
But
care.
you do-
Don't even
you-
try that.
Okay, I was just
Really bad
Hey,
excuse.
curious.
You do need to be a risk. I think you're going
But-
to be a risk taker of some sort.
And that you are.
Right.
No,
You
definitely
can't
not one of
deny
those.
that.
Do you see where this is going?
So here's the thing. I hate short-term placements. Like, hate them with a
Yes.
passion, because as crazy and spontaneous as I am, like literally this summer, like a week before we decided to take a 2-week road trip because I was sick of quarantining. And so we went
I
to the
did not
Grand
go on that road
Canyon,
trip.
literally in tented,
By
like
we,
in
she means
Arizona.
her and a friend.
A friend with 10 children.
And another friend.
But it was so much fun. Okay, so much fun. So, anywho.
That crazy stresses me.
So I do like crazy and spontaneous. However, when it comes to like daily flow and in my home, I do prefer a routine. And when
You look confused. You should be.
here's the thing, when we have short-term placements, I feel like it's always like a short-term like baby.
Because
I
it
can't get
throws
into a
your
rhythm.
life for a
Is it like a day? Like
It could be.
The
It could be
shortest
2
I've ever
weeks.
had kids is 4 hours.
that's the shortest.
And that was, they
Watch
came
this.
at like, they were supposed to be there at 10:30 at night, and they came from another county, and so by the time they got there, it was like 4:15 in the
But
morning.
she like will say yes to
I like
that
to do
all
that.
the time.
But I did that one time, and I ended up with 2 kids with lice, and then everybody got lice. and
Oh,
it was just
Jesus.
so bad.
And then she said,
Just a
it'll be
bad
fun
month.
because all my kids are at their grandparents.
Yes.
Okay, let me remind. She has cloth seats in her. We both drive buses
But
around.
I put the plastic on.
Jesus. No, she didn't. Listen.
And he only was in there.
Listen. Those little eggs get everywhere,
They
okay?
did.
And I said, you're going to get lice. Who got lice? Everybody got
Yeah,
lice.
it was bad.
Then she was on beach vacation. She's like, we're all fine. They went on beach
Oh.
vacation. Everybody got lice.
Yeah, the last morning. It's fine. So that happens, but
You've been lice free for
Yes.
how long now?
let's push that away. Who wants to wear these next? Nobody. I'm kidding. This was 2 years ago. But 4 hours. I mean, the kids came into my home, and it was just a like, hey, these kids have nowhere. We've called X number of homes. And I do like to say, bring them here. I can't stand for kids to be sitting awake after dinner time through the night just to sit and wait for someone to take them. Like, how horrific that must feel. And also, they're tired. And so Lacy doesn't care about
I can
that.
say no to that.
I can't. So all that to say, 4 hours, they were picked up by a caseworker because I was like, I got to go be somewhere. And we decided that. So 4 hours, they were gone out of my house.
Yeah, I think my shortest has been a night, like one or two nights that we've had.
Longest?
Our longest has been almost 18 months. But that was a unique situation. His dad was working his tail off to get his kid back and basically had never parented. So we ended up developing this great relationship with dad, also which I never said I would have a relationship with biological
Yes.
family. Like, I didn't want to get messed up and all that, because that's messy.
Same.
And I was just going to take care of the kid. And literally our very first placement, those twin girls, we went to the office, and typically they will have parents arrive early and be in a back room, and then you come and they take the children back to the parents, and then you come and get them, and they make the parents wait 15 minutes before you leave. So there's no
Interaction.
no conflict. So they didn't do this. So I had, of course, Facebook stalked them because duh. And so I knew what they looked like. And so we walk into the office in the foyer. I look to the right. There's the parents. The mom stands up and is bawling her eyes out. The dad starts accusing us of marks on her, which she came with the girls. And what do you do? What do you do when you're looking at a mom in the face and you know what she's done with her kids and why they are in care, but she's also at her core just a mom who loves her kids despite her other inabilities to care for them. She loves them. And that's really the case, I think, with every parent that I've had. They love their kid, but for whatever reason, whether that's addiction or mental illness or whatnot, they are not able to care for them. Yeah. So what do? I just hugged her. She literally sobbed on my shoulder. We gave him the kids. We walked down. I looked at Jonathan and I was like, well, guess God's trying to teach me a lesson.
Guess I broke that rule.
Never say never.
Okay. Also, you have a lot of control over my life right here. I don't like it.
Jesus.
She
hates feeling like she's controlled.
You were like grabbing it and fondling.
Just want to make sure that you are behaving.
You guys realize, so not everybody watches this on video. So it is a podcast, which means that it's on
Why
audio.
wouldn't you
so
watch
for
the
everybody?
wire?
And actually, like most of our audience is actually on audio. So I'm gonna go ahead and explain that she was talking about the wire running to her headphones, fondling the wire
anyway.
on the
You'll
headphones.
have to watch the video to really find out.
That's right.
Exactly.
Pad those stats.
We like to keep you engaged.
Yeah. So the dad, this kid that we had for 18 months, the dad worked his tail off. He actually came to our house a lot and learned how to parent. He learned how to give a kid a bath, put him to bed. Actually started coming to church with us, just lots of things. And it was a successful reunification because it was a little slower and he really worked hard. So sometimes reunifications are great like that. And sometimes
kids come back. All of our kids that we've adopted have reunified with parents and then come back into care. So left us and then returned.
Which is crazy.
Which is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I survived. We're surviving.
Did you?
I don't know. I meant like present.
I mean, is it like, I would assume, but I shouldn't assume, like you fall in love with a kid too that's in your care.
Don't assume
Right.
that.
That's exactly where I was going. I mean, I'm sure that the fulfillment of reunification or adoption is there. It's rewarding, but like, how attached do you allow yourself to get?
Gosh, we never get that question either, do we?
So here's the thing.
Well, we're failing epically today. Asking all the normal
I
questions.
can text you some questions no one ever asks us.
Yeah, text me a question that no one's ever asked.
We do like a training, our village night, and we say, these are things not to say to foster parents.
Do you get attached?
Here's the thing. If you really aren't getting attached, then you're not doing what you're supposed to do, right? Because you're parenting that child and stepping into that parent role. And there are situations where you are not going to connect with a child
100%.
on this super deep level. It's just not, it's just human nature, my human nature.
I mean, sometimes you don't like your own kids.
For sure.
That you birthed.
Yes.
Or you helped make. And so
Thanks for
just want to make sure for anybody
that.
listening in the podcast land that Collin did not actually birth a child.
But they
Great
that's
job,
what they
Shannon.
need.
Go team.
Yes.
That's right.
She needs another push present.
Surely.
But they need people to get attached to, and they need people to attach to them, because that allows them, when someone has healthy attachment, it allows them to then go, and if they're reunifying or they're going to another family member, it allows them to transfer that healthy attachment to wherever they're going.
Well, a lot of times it isn't just the feelings. Like, so we associate being a parent or falling in love with a feeling. And I've learned through 45 foster kids that sometimes the feelings may never come. And it was our fourth foster kid that I found myself super frustrated, crying like almost every day, just saying like, this is wrong. Like, this was not where I'm supposed to be. This is not the path that our family was supposed to be on. This feels horrible. And I hated being a mom to this kid. And he came from a really hard place. We were his fourth or fifth foster family in a matter of a year. He was 3. And so you can imagine the trauma that he had endured, and who can he trust? And so rightly so. Now that I have more knowledge, I understand that a little bit better, but it also doesn't just automatically come with these feelings of like, oh my gosh, a baby or a kid, and like I love them and they're in foster care, or I'm adopting them, and like I just feel this automatic connection. That's like this love stories that we hear of, you know, and these fairy tales.
Butterflies and rainbows.
Right. It's not that. And we know, like, how long have you been married?
Great question. 13 years. 13 years.
That's a commonly asked question.
That's a common 13 years. And
How long have
so
you been
this
married?
goes out December 14th.
Also a commonly asked question.
Happy anniversary to Shannon, by the way. It's
Oh my gosh.
December, December, 20,
Oh.
December 22nd.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Christmas.
You're welcome
Christmas
for that.
babies.
So you know, like your love, you don't always feel like you love your wife. It's okay to
no,
say no.
of course, I love my wife.
Okay.
Every minute of
Cool.
every day.
Okay.
all the
This
time.
is
Cool.
a horrible podcast.
He's lying to you, folks.
So basically, like it's that the feelings are forged through hard things and through meeting basic needs. Like I'm going to show up for this kid and I'm going to feed them. I'm going to clothe them and I'm going to
Maybe.
do my best
Pants optional.
Or shirts.
for everyone. Like I'm going to do my best to show up for you. Basically, is what I'm saying as a foster parent. And some days I may be really amazing. Most days I'm going to be subpar. But I'm going to stay the course with you. And I'm not leaving when things get hard. And I'm not going to hurt you. And so that over time, I think develops a love and an attachment to say like, wow.
Look how far we've come.
Yeah, I've shown up for this child. And now I'm going to fight for this kid.
So what are the non-negotiable qualities you have to possess in order to do what you do?
Humility. Yeah.
I mean, perseverance, that's super cliche, but
It's true, though.
just like, and the ability to,
I think it's like like laying down your life sounds super cliche to me, but it's, you know, you learn how to be selfless in a marriage, right? Or you learn how to be selfless when you birth a baby and you are caring for this newborn who's utterly dependent on you. And that is what any refinement is going to be. And foster care is a refinement, right? So it's just a refining of, I'm going to continually lay down what my thoughts and my hopes and my dreams and my desires for the sake of you. Because you, this one child, is worth that. And that's what they need. And at the end of the day, like you were saying earlier, like, you know, I'm sure the next question that you're going to ask is, well, what do you do?
Because this has already been scripted out. We didn't know this, but
I mean, typically, how do you say goodbye? You know, is everyone's probably the biggest fear that people have when they're contemplating foster
Is the
care
loss.
is the loss.
Yeah.
And the loss is every bit of a loss that you would imagine a loss to be.
or worse.
Or it's actually,
Some
yes.
have been
It's actually
great.
true. Is like
Some have been okay.
some
Some
have
I like
been-
actually packed the bag and was waiting at the door for the caseworker, looking out the window. When is she coming? Never.
Oh my gosh!
So-
One time though, funny story. One time she was doing
Me?
respite, yes, because she does this respite stuff that I don't do.
I don't really like
And
it
so she
anymore.
was just taking this baby for a weekend, and then for
What baby was
for,
that?
for a family member, and then it ended up
Right.
they didn't come back to get the baby.
They didn't.
So then Christy,
It
what
wasn't
she
one baby.
thought- it was two. It was
twins.
twins.
Newborn preemie twins, and I
Yes.
already had 7 children.
She was dying. And so listen, this is so funny though. So they didn't come get the twins.
Do you see what
So
is actually
Monday-
funny now?
This is the funny. It's like wicked funny. Okay. So they didn't come get them. And she's like, what am I going to do with these twins? And I go, I don't know, but you're the one who said yes.
Gosh, she likes. to
But
rub
here's
that
the
in.
crazy thing. Like a week
The
later.
crazy thing is, she also had the other brother.
Listen. So a week later, I am on. This was back when we were doing premiere. I was on my way to a jewelry show. My husband was at home with like our other 5 kids. It was dinner time.
It was
and-
a week later.
Yeah, it was like a week later.
Oh.
And I get a phone call, and it was like, hey, can you take this boy? You know, he's like 2, and it's only going to be for a couple of weeks because they've identified a family. So then she starts talking, and I saw her number, the placement lady's number on my phone, and I'm like, I'm on my way to a jewelry show. I don't want another kid right now. Like, decline. Well, she called back again. Then I answered, and she was like,
Persistent.
she goes, can you just take him for a few weeks? And I was like,
Fine.
fine. Usually it takes them a couple of hours to get home. So I was like, I'm on my way to a jewelry show. I'll be back home before they drop the kid off. Literally, Jonathan texts me like 15 minutes later and he goes, so a kid just got dropped off at our home. I was like,
Surprise.
Typical.
Right.
I didn't have a chance to call you.
I meant to call you about that. You never know what you're going to.
You're telling me about this, and I go, hold up. Does this kid have twin siblings? Yes. That was the ones that were never picked up from Kristy's house.
So we shared siblings for a while.
We did.
But not long
and it was
because
not
I
2
couldn't
weeks. For me, it was not 2 weeks.
For me, it
he was there
was.
like 6 months.
So you never know.
No.
Like, we've shared children. We've shared a lot of things.
Yes, but
Time.
not husbands.
I'm so glad
We
you
draw the
clarified.
line. We draw the line.
I mean,
right here. You
I'm so glad you
still
clarified.
taking my
because,
cord.
yeah.
I don't even know actually what your question was.
I don't either. But here's
But
the thing.
that's
It's not
the
about
story
you.
we
It's
told.
about the kid. That's the bottom line.
Oh,
Yeah.
get too attached. Right. Cool.
So do you ever get a chance to be selfish? Like, is that, I kind of come from a point of like, there's human needs where like, you know, you put out, you care so much,
Yeah.
but like, someone's got to care for you. And I'm sure you've got great relationships with your husbands and everything, but is somebody ever
I
looking
like
out?
your assumption.
Right. I mean, I'm trying. I'm throwing them a bone. Right? But
Put up with this. They gotta be
so what
good.
is that like? I mean, how do you get? I mean, you're doing this like thing that God has called you to do,
Sure.
and it's a great service. But like, is there ever that time where you're just like, man, when is someone gonna like look after me like I look after these kids?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. I wrote a book about this last year. I didn't.
I was really excited. I was like, I got one that they didn't.
But I did go through
Nailed it.
this.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
maybe
going to
not.
be a chapter in my book one day. But I went through this last year, and interestingly, can we talk about the Enneagram for a second?
Ooh. Do you know what your number is?
The number?
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
help him.
Jesus. You
Can
don't
we
even know
pause
what
for
the
a second?
Enneagram is?
No, I do. but
Sorry,
isn't
we
that
need to
the
pause. He needs to take
one?
a
Is
test.
this the EF?
No.
No, it's
What's
like
the
1, 2,
Enneagram?
3, 4,
Mike,
5, 6, 7, 8,
help
9.
a brother out.
It's one of the past podcast episodes. We talked about this already.
Oh my
There's so many of these things.
Okay,
I can't
stop.
keep track of all
Anyways,
these assessments.
can I
don't
take
remember
over
who
for
we
a
talked
second?
about.
For anybody that's listening that is a total
What number are you?
Enneagram
I
freak.
I can tell you what mine is. Hold on.
I know
What
my.
are you
can't take
doing?
the-
I
The
got it
test is
saved.
like involved.
I know my
No,
Myers.
no,
Briggs,
I've
but
done
that's
it. Like I've got it.
Well, then
saved.
what
I'll
is
tell you
your
what you're not.
problem?
Are you ready? You're not an 8.
No.
Maybe a 7.
Y'all just keep talking, and I'll see if
Anyway,
I can.
I'm just
I think he's
saying.
actually more calculated than we give him credit for.
3.
Maybe. You're an achiever.
The thing is,
That
Hold on,
sounds
let's see if
right.
she- let's
That
see if
sounds
she's right.
You're an
Yeah,
achiever.
he's got the results. He's got it.
Okay.
dun, dun, dun.
What's your number one?
Oh, let's see if you can guess.
3. Achiever.
What's my
That's
number
what we're
one?
saying. Achiever.
No.
3.
7.
Wait.
No,
6?
but close. So
No, you do
doesn't-
not. You're a 9,
my
6,
number
3
one.
triad.
My number one is the Challenger Type 8.
That's an 8. I said you're not an 8, but you are. It's fine. You're nicer than me.
22, and then I was tied at 21 for Achiever, and then 7, the Enthusiast.
Because an 8
I'm a
goes
7.
to a.
100%.
so I mean, 22, 21, 21 is.
But
like,
the thing is, actually, you can't go to a 3. So we'll talk about that on podcast episode number 131.
But that's so I did take this test.
Okay, you can be an 8.
I have to
That's a challenger. So some of us challenge in different ways. I'm a total 8. I don't actually know why I brought up the Enneagram because I have ADD.
say. Okay, I mean, it's a good topic of
Listen,
discussion.
I'm a 7. That's why I went to the Grand Canyon.
Oh my gosh.
You know,
Okay.
like for
What
2
were we
weeks.
talking about? Can you go back
Mike,
to your
please
previous?
do you remember?
Ask a new question.
No, you
Right.
asked it. I talked about my book. That's why I went down.
Oh, right. About someone
self-care.
caring.
Yes,
Yeah,
this
This
is
is
self-care.
so
All right.
serious. So last year, sorry about that.
We're
Here I
back.
am.
We're back.
Are you going to edit that out?
No, don't. That's the best part.
Come on.
Okay, so
Editing takes
should know.
time.
listen, this is really
what
serious.
episode were you on before
okay?
as my co-host?
Oh, with the bread and
6.
breakfast people who have been amazing. Magnolia.
Yeah, that was a good episode.
Magnolia?
Bless you.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yep. Not really, but probably. But no.
No.
We're
Hey,
like
by
4
the
feet
way,
apart.
talk
Right.
about people using your time, talent, and resources.
Oh my
we
gosh,
met them.
this
I
is
met
like
them.
an infomercial.
I met them on your podcast. Hey, give them a shout out.
Yep,
they
time out.
probably need it with COVID. And they have donated rooms to our chapter advocates, which we actually haven't
Magnolia
talked
Bed and
about.
Breakfast.
Well, that
Yes.
happened because of this podcast?
Because of this
Because you were
podcast.
co-hosting
Yes.
with them?
Yes, I was co-hosting.
Way to go.
and
Way to connect it up, bro.
And she said, we want to come
those things make me,
alongside.
like, feel good about doing this, for
using
sure.
their time, talent, and resources, which for them is a bed and breakfast, to say, let me give you some rooms for foster families to stay in. So, I'm going to go off again, but we actually have 10 chapters of Foster Florida through the state of Florida. So it started in Gainesville.
Also happened non-strategically.
How it happened was people kept saying, we want to do this in our area, teach us how. And we said,
We don't know how.
we don't know what we're doing.
Figured it
At that point, we were running everything off of Google Docs.
And a piece of paper.
Basically, it was horrible. And so we don't
what
do
God
that
has
anymore,
done.
by the way. We actually spent hours working.
I know. We did great today.
Jeez. Okay,
so
so
proud of you.
anywho, what am I saying? Why did I say that?
I don't know. Magnolia.
Yeah, we're talking about me.
Oh, but so
10
they said, hey, we want it.
chapters.
Yes.
There we
because
go.
The need for support for foster families is great
Yep.
everywhere. It's not just here in Gainesville. And so eventually enough people just kept saying, really, we want to start a chapter of this here.
They
And
were
we're like, we don't
persistent.
do that. So we went to a lawyer. Somebody actually gave us money to go to a lawyer. And so we did.
Somebody from Texas.
We learned how much we didn't know, and they helped us get everything started. And from there, 10 chapters have launched across the state. And so basically, they do everything that we do here in Gainesville. They do it from Pensacola down to Treasure Coast.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
incredible.
stayed at this bed and breakfast. That's what she was
They
actually
did.
coming to tie
Yeah.
that back to.
Circling around the Magnolia Bed
We
and
work
Breakfast
better
people
with
have provided rooms for
Better
them when they come
Together.
in for training.
Dude, that happened because of the podcast.
Yes,
That's
it
great.
did. So
Hey, man.
thank you.
Yay! Whoa.
Changing the world.
Look what
GNV.
happens when you say yes to Kristy and Lacy.
Actually, that was just Lacy. You didn't invite me. I
Okay,
was
me, just
super
me.
offended at first, but then
I
whatever.
only had one
Well,
co-host.
I was gonna say, was it because Ty was playing golf? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
So
cool.
thanks,
What happened
Ty.
to him?
Yeah.
Good job,
Whatever.
Ty.
Way to go,
Ty made it
Ty.
all happen because
Yeah.
he's playing golf. We
But
need to talk
he's
to Ty.
alive?
It's been.
You don't
I
know?
haven't seen him.
I'm just saying, you still have
He's
not
in
had me
California.
on, so I don't understand.
He's
what's
in
happening.
California. He can't talk to
Who are you
anybody.
with? Why are you here? So we got to wrap up in a second.
Oh, wait.
What?
Yeah,
I
dude,
just,
I know.
hold on. The thing is, I never even answered your question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It was about, she interrupts me so much.
Okay. And you don't ever.
You guys still put up with each
Interrupt
other.
me.
I don't know why.
When we listen to
You know
this
what you should have
again-
asked us? How do we deal with interpersonal
you
conflict?
see
We're gonna get the
conflict?
answer in the side.
How
Do you
you
see
deal
that?
with interpersonal
We're-
conflict?
In a minute, I'll answer that. 132.
They've booked themselves for the next 3 episodes.
We have pushed ourselves square through 2021.
Yes, basically.
You should be nervous now.
Yeah,
But
just
we're gonna have to be on the payroll if we do that.
By payroll, we mean we're going to need some in-kind giving. Remember, space podcast. Hold on, give me 30 seconds.
You got to be on the podcast.
This
Okay,
is what
go.
happens.
You got 30 seconds. Go.
Okay, so it's not even good now. My answer. You're gonna have to ask another question.
No, I want to know.
Hey, you were asking about taking care of
I
people.
just walked
and
into the dealership.
that was,
They.
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
you do.
I like weird random things like this. That
You know who it is? It's his
Yeah.
grandma.
Okay.
happen.
No, it's
Okay.
fine.
It's fine. Are we all gonna die?
No, that's
it's fine.
sorry.
Should we lock
I'm gonna
the door?
apologize in advance for this episode. I mean, apologize not in advance, but at the end of this episode for this episode. Okay. So, did you
Why do
answer his
people-
question?
why do
We do
people
have to
always
wrap
say
up in a
that?
second.
Always
Okay.
people
So,
always
how-
apologize for us.
I feel bad.
I don't know.
Later.
Are we a lot?
We can replay the last 58 minutes.
Okay.
Oh my gosh! Okay,
58
let me
minutes.
listen. I have 30 seconds.
Go.
Interruptions.
Okay, 30
I'm
seconds.
looking right at you right now
can't
because
wait.
this is so serious.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute Lacy and I. Go ahead.
It's the only way. So, how do you take care of yourself? This is super important because I don't think you can last in this ministry, really in a lot of things, unless you're taking care of yourself. But a lot of people tend to err on the side of really taking care of themselves and giving themselves a lot of, love, as opposed to just
Pouring
stepping
it all
back
out.
or stepping back and resting. And I mean, there are extremes. And so our family actually took a 7-month sabbatical this year. We had no idea that COVID was coming. Someone, talk about a miracle, someone out of the blue found me in a doctor's office, a friend of mine. I randomly ran into her and she said, "We want to send you and your husband on a 7-day marriage cruise." And I was like, what? So it's like thousands of dollars to go on this marriage cruise for a week. And so we said yes. we got back like February 16th. So just a month before really everything shut down.
It's my birthday.
Happy birthday. Do you want me to sing a song to you? You don't say
You
no.
can finish.
I heard this year's gonna
That's
be
my ADD.
special.
I thought you were muted.
Sorry, I was kidding.
Are you kidding me?
I was
If
just
he muted me, I would take your microphone.
Jesus helper. Do you see this? Is why I took my cord away. You guys thought I was joking. So all that to say, it was hard for me to step back because who I was, like my identity was found in foster care. And people would introduce me like Kristy Sutton, foster mom extraordinaire, or Kristy Sutton, foster fleur, Kristy. You know, everything was associated with foster care. And
it's like
after
the word Chris
Chris
dash
T. Yeah.
with T.
Like Mr. T.
That's the
Chris
phonetic.
T, foster care, it's all one word. And so it was challenging because I had become what I did, and I don't think anybody really wants to be that. We just want to be Collin. You know, we just want to be Mike. We don't want to be Collin.
Yeah.
He said, not
We
me.
all just
I'm
want to be
humbled.
Collin.
I'm humbled. The whole world wants to be yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is all going downhill. But basically, to wrap it up, we want to be loved for ourselves. And so I struggled with that last year, and I found myself in the ER, like super sick, and a nurse was taking care of me, and I left my kids at home with a friend. I felt super bad for putting her off. And she was watching, at that time, 7 of my kids, while my husband took me to the ER. Like, of all things, I lost it and started just like hysterically crying in the bed because I was having so much trouble allowing somebody else to step in to take care of me when I thought nothing of saying yes to 2 kids who were found 2 cities away at 2 a.m. wandering around in their diaper covered in lice. Like, I didn't think about it. I just said, yeah, come on in. And so it's easy for me to just say, yeah, like bear the burden. But it was hard for me to allow someone to bear my burden with me. And so one of our desires really at Foster Florida is to allow other foster parents who are also living this hard, isolating space on the front lines to allow them to have a place to advocate for themselves because they are such great advocates for other people, but oftentimes don't advocate well for their own needs. And so we want to also be able to give them a voice to say, you have to care for yourself too. And so how can we come around you and help you care for yourself while you care for the vulnerable?
And we also say Prozac and therapy also help that a lot.
I was going to plug that too.
Just saying.
I was
That's the
going
No
to
stigmas
I was going to
here.
ask
No
for like
stigmas.
key points of advice. I mean, because I think whether it's
that was it.
Well, right. I mean, you might have answered it, but whether it's like a calling from God or the empaths out there among us that just give and give and give.
Sure.
I mean, what advice is there for those people that might end up being undernourished?
Sure.
Well, and 2, I think, like she said, when you're in a season of, hey, I need to step back and take a break, you can still use your gifts and talents and time in other ways to still impact, but it may not be as heavy-handed as having a kid in your home 24/7. So a lot of what people do when they give their lives to different causes, whatever that may be, they do that outside of their home, and then they come to their safe abode of home. And foster care is in your home. You don't get away from it. It's there 24/7.
Right.
And so it's a different kind of living and giving. And so you have to...
Exhausting is really what she wanted to say. Did you like
So
how
it's
she threw in that
okay.
word
It's
abode
okay.
too? Smart. Makes her look smart sometimes.
You were just sad you didn't think of that one.
I know. It's good. I'm going to use it next time. Abode.
Wait, are we going to do we have time to do...
Episode 130.
No. What's that thing you do at the end where you just ask
Rapid
a bunch
fire.
of stupid questions?
Oh my
so-
gosh.
Oh, are we going to do
All
that?
right, yeah, we're gonna do that.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
that actually. So we're now putting that before the show.
Okay.
So it's gonna go out the week before.
Oh, perfect.
So she's talking about the side hustle.
Thanks for watching the
And-
last 120 episodes, by the
Yeah.
You're
way.
welcome.
And
It's
so the
in
side
my
hustle,
free time,
you're gonna want to go
that's how
watch
I
it. Obviously,
self-nourish.
go back to the last recording and watch it because it's gonna be awesome.
Nobody's listening.
So we
Because
have
she's
to,
interrupting. This is what's happening.
we have to wrap up.
Okay.
Good, because these headphones are hurting my ears.
So
lice.
where can our audience
The lice.
connect with you guys?
Jeez.
Where can they
Yeah.
donate to your cause?
Oh, that's
Where
a good
can
question.
they help?
Where can you donate,
Whatever.
Collin?
Where can
okay,
you
let us tell you.
donate?
So you can find us on social media channels.
Venmo.
Our Facebook.
Hey, whatever.
On Venmo as well.
Cash App.
Foster
Venmo, yes, PayPal. No, we're kidding. You can find
We're
us
not
on our
actually.
social-
We do have a PayPal.
We do. Our social media channels, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Foster Florida, as well as Venmo. But you can also go to our website is really where you want to go to see all the different ways you can plug in, whether you are here in Gainesville, which I know most of our listeners are, or you're in Ocala or any really where around the state, you can get plugged into a chapter near you. You can go to fosterflorida.org. You can give securely online there, but you can also sign up to volunteer, to be matched with a family to serve them, to respond to urgent needs, or to get more information to sign up as a foster family yourself.
Bum, bum, bum.
Boom.
Did you like that?
Yeah, it was great.
Also, I feel like you need a different table under here because
No,
it's not,
stop it.
It's not helpful.
This recording studio is like, I'm gonna call it that from now on. I like that.
Recordio?
Making on my own.
You're well
words.
straddling the.
That happened right here.
I'm sitting
You
like
are
a
used to
man.
straddling. It's okay.
I cannot be on there.
We're going to go ahead and wrap up. Hey, special thanks to all the sponsors that make this show possible. If you miss any of our sponsors' information, definitely go check them out at whoagnv.com/sponsors. You can see all the sponsors and get links to their websites and that kind of thing on our website. Again, that's whoagnv.com/sponsors. And then, of course, thank you to our amazing crew, James Leitner, Sarah Lentz, Allison Mucciarino, and to Michael D.
Woo woo!
Yeah, holla.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody. Support
Michael D's, drop
Foster
to your
Florida.
knee.
Support Foster. And don't forget, if you buy one of these Gainesville, Florida shirts, we're going to donate 50% to definitely to a different cause now that this episode is over.
Wait, whoa.
Because I'm just kidding. We're going
I
to
don't know,
donate
but
50%
that's
to Foster Florida.
sweet
Or
temperature.
55.
Thank you so much for listening and
Is that the White
sharing.
House?
And obviously, you need to share this with your best friend out there somewhere in the world. So.
Yes.
That's right.
This is the WHOA GNV podcast. The podcast bring you businesses, individuals, and very crazy women, apparently,
Getting crap done.
Whoa, GNV.
that make you go,
Whoa.
whoa. We'll see you later. Bye.